Welcome back. We still continue with the debate on the phasing out of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction at the University of Pretoria. Let's get some perspective from the student community. We just spoke to Kabwa Godia. He is a member of the SRC, and now we're joined by David Kabwa. He is also the SRC president, and we cross over to him in Pretoria right now. Very good morning to David, and welcome to Morning Live.
Very good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. So, mixed reaction with regards to this particular decision by the University of Pretoria. What are your views?
Right, so I do think with an issue such as this, a mixed reaction is to be expected. We have such a very diverse student community, and in that diversity, there are very many different opinions, different viewpoints, as well as different ideologies. But I do think one commonality that we do all share is that we disagree, we do agree, and oftentimes we agree to disagree.
So do you disagree with this decision?
No, in my personal opinion, I believe that the phasing out of Afrikaans is for the betterment of the student body as well as the student community at large. And in it being phased out, it is a transition that is being done to ensure that the university is continually inclusive to all students.
So in terms of transformation at the higher education space, what does it mean? What are the implications for transformation?
Implications for transformation is very, very forward-thinking. In order to transform, we need to ensure that we include more voices. And to include more voices requires a greater level of inclusivity. And in our inclusivity, we need to ensure that we do not exclude any students or prospective students. Therefore, through the medium of English being introduced as the primary medium, this will allow a greater sense of inclusivity as more voices will be able to come forward.
And how do we see to it that all languages enjoy the same status?
So, regarding all of the different languages, it's just a matter of communication. So to ensure that all languages enjoy the same status, the emphasis really and truly needs to be placed on a greater level of understanding. Simply because we speak different languages does not mean that we differ in terms of our intelligence, our capacity, our capabilities, as well as our cognitive understandings also. So having that sense of a mutual understanding, regardless of the language you speak or the background that you come from, is how we can ensure all languages are put on an equal footing.
And there have also been questions with regards to why should Afrikaans continue to be a medium of instructions for our universities when there are other 11 official languages in South Africa?
Right, so Afrikaans can also be classified as a vernacular language. The argument here is that if one vernacular language is being used, that all vernacular languages should be used. Logistically speaking, we're not yet at the state where nationwide we can include absolutely all of the official languages. I cannot speak for all universities, but I can speak for the University of Pretoria. And in doing so, I can say that with the introduction of English as the medium of instruction, it is simply to ensure that all students are able to adequately gain access to the education that will allow South Africa to grow and to develop and to continually be a powerful player.
You just raised the argument that Afrikaans can be considered as a vernacular language, which then leaves English to be, the sole medium of instructions. And for those who may not have access to a vernacular language such as Afrikaans, as you've put it, this will cause a massive barrier to access for South African students at universities.
Right, so in that particular instance, English is the most widely spoken language in the country. All students have been given the opportunity to learn in English. It should not be a barrier for anyone, the home language that you speak in terms of education. Equally so, it can be said that students who are studying in another language would find English to be a barrier, would find Afrikaans to be a barrier. It's a dichotomy that can be argued both ways. One thing that can be stated explicitly is that by the introduction of one language, it makes it a lot more accessible for all students and prospective students to be able to study.
And now that this decision has been made by the university, what then should be happening to people who are still interested in studying in their own languages?
Right. So people who are interested to be studying in their own languages are very much free to do so. So English being introduced as the medium of instruction does not mean that all other languages will be excluded. At the university, all students have the opportunity to take any electives that they want in any languages that they want. This includes all official languages, and it also includes international languages as well, to ensure that all students can study on the equal footing. And should you want to study in your own language, learn it, grow it, develop it, you will be free to do so.
All right, David, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was David Kabwa. He is the SRC president at the University of Cape Town, and earlier on we were joined by a fellow SRC member, Jacobus Gordia, and early in the previous hour we were also joined by the head of language policy for AfriForum, Elana Bailey. All right, we're still talking about the issue of the phasing out of Afrikaans as a medium of instruction for universities. It is 8 o'clock. Let's time to take a look at the top stories.